tell people that Philly is a special breed. They hate to see us on top, they hate to see us on, they hate to see us come up, they hate we on, they hate the moves that we make because it's made to break them. We give them knowledge on tracks and hope our words can save them. I guess it's hard to get props when you know you lesser, so we right on your heels. I hope you feel the pressure. Rappers taking a roll, my shoes that never fit them. Before you come at a king, I let my soldiers get them.
We're now joined by actor, comedian, screenwriter, content creator, and New York Times best-selling author, Danny Pellegrino. Danny, welcome to Philly on the Rise.
Hello, it's so nice to meet you and get to talk about my book, The Jolliest Bunch, which I'm super excited about. And I'm going to be in Philly very soon, so I'm so excited.
Yes. We are definitely looking forward to seeing you. October 25th, you'll be at the TLA. Everyone in Philly knows where that is. But let's talk about you a little bit. Solon, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland, is where you're from. What was it like growing up there?
Oh gosh, well, it's a small town outside of Cleveland, and I had two older brothers and my parents, and I really loved my childhood, although I'd say there were a lot of chaotic and unhinged memories, which are a lot of the stories that I write about in my books. But I had a great time growing up. I was just there back in Cleveland to see some family and friends and to also do a show there. And it's just so exciting to get to see so many people I grew up with. A few of my teachers showed up to the show that I did the other night, and just getting to see my 8th grade English teacher and my history teacher, it just blew my mind. And so I feel really grateful to have been from there. And I'm so proud to be from the Midwest. And yeah, I love my hometown.
And you mentioned some of the funny stories that you've had growing up. What's the deal with your mom's woodpecker?
Oh, I love that you asked me that. My mom has a pretty, I don't know, will they or won't they relationship with the woodpecker that shows up to her house all the time. Not romantically, but she's will they or won't they, will she get rid of it? Or will she just keep their relationship how it is, which is just her getting so mad every time the woodpecker is making some noise. So we call it the bold ass woodpecker because she's always calling me to update me and tell me, Dan, the bold ass woodpecker's back. And she, it really is a thorn in her side. But yeah.
That's good stuff, man. Most comedians were class clowns. So is that what you were growing up, Danny? You were a class clown interrupting the teacher?
Yeah, a little bit. I was a good student, so I didn't like to upset the class too much, but I always loved doing impressions. I remember doing impressions of my 3rd grade teacher and getting a laugh out of that, and then starting to do some characters and talent show stuff where I was trying to make people laugh at least. And so I, from a very young age, realized how disarming a laugh can be. And I think it takes a lot of the air out of the tires in the best of ways, because we can all be so pent up, and especially now there's so much going on. I think we all need the laughs, but I remember that feeling very young of getting a laugh out of someone and how it could kind of change their mood and change their day. And so I always love anytime I can make anybody laugh. I'll try to do it for you today. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to try my best, Mike.
I think you'll do just fine. We've already had a couple of laughs.
Okay.
Honestly, we've had a couple of
got
laughs. Your present podcast, Everything Iconic, with Danny Pellegrino, last year boasted over 40,000 downloads. How are you handling the fame?
40 million, which is gross to correct you on.
40 million. Let's get that correct.
Mike, I'm so sorry to correct you. I know that was gross, but I'm very proud. Yeah, I can't believe that the show, Everything Iconic, has taken off the way it has. I've had some amazing guests, and I've gotten to talk about a lot of the pop culture, the reality TV shows, all that stuff that I like. And so I can't even believe it. I mean, getting to tour right now in support of my book and getting to meet people who listen to my show every week has just been a little overwhelming, but in a great way. But I can't believe it. I started the show back in at the end of 2017, and it snowballed in a way that I just could have never imagined. And I'm also very proud because I'm still an independently produced show. And so I feel very proud. I'm essentially a one-man band still. I do all my editing, my booking, and all of that stuff. You see, I'm here with this microphone setup, and I probably should at some point invest in in some help. But it has been really gratifying that it has taken off in that way.
And you do have a couple of books. Obviously, you're on tour now. You're going to do some stand-up, but at some point, you're going to talk about your books while you're on tour. The books are interesting. Stories from your childhood growing up. One of them, again, New York Times bestseller, is What You Are. Tell us a little bit about the books. And there's one story in specific where you guys were doing Christmas shopping with an urn.
Oh, yes. Okay. So that was from my first book, which came out last year, was called How Do I Unremember This? And it's a collection of stories, sort of my version of a David Sedaris book or one of those essay collections. I'm not sure if you've read any of those, but I really wanted each chapter to be its own little story about maybe a small moment and kind of the chaos and hilarity around those small moments. So the story that you're referencing was from my book, How Do I Unremember This? And it was a story about my mom had sent me to return something into a Kohl's, and I didn't realize she was sending me in with an urn that she had purchased. And so some hilarity ensued, hopefully. And that's a story in my first book. And oddly enough, it's centered around the holidays, that story you mentioned. And when I was writing that book, I found that there were so many stories about the holidays, and I didn't want that first book to be all of those Christmassy Thanksgiving stories. And so I included a couple in that first book, but I really dove in with my new one, which is called The Jolliest Bunch. But the response that I got from those stories in the first book was so overwhelming. I think a lot of people related to the family stories, and I was getting so many messages, and people were coming up to me and saying it reminded them of their families, and it felt like with this new book, I really wanted it to feel also like the movie Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I wanted it to feel like that a little bit, that chaotic family energy, the heartwarmingness of the holidays, but also the hilarity around it. So it became sort of a extension of that first book, How Do I Unremember This, which I could have never imagined would have done as well as it did. And it was picked as the Target Book Club pick this year in June. And I've just been so overwhelmed by the response. And I'm hopeful that people will like the new book as just as much.
I think they will. I think folks will enjoy the book because they enjoy you.
Thank you.
40 million
Thank you,
downloads
Mike.
last year, doing some amazing
Thank you.
things. So you are scheduled to come to Philly October 25th. Are you ready for a cheesesteak and the Rocky Steps?
I was born ready for a cheesesteak, Mike. I love nothing better. I'm so excited to come to Philly. Obviously, I think I had told you off air. I was supposed to be there right before COVID. I had a show set up, and I was on tour, and then unfortunately, a few of the dates, including the Philly date, was canceled. So I've just been aching to get there. So I'm so excited. I have some friends there, and I can't wait to see them. And I love the city, and I'm excited to be there.
You got so many irons in the fire. We understand you're promoting the book now, but what's next? What's next for Mr. Danny Pellegrino?
I hope to keep writing books, and I love getting to do these stories. And so I hope the publisher continues to let me do that. I also have a dream of doing a children's book. I have dreams of, I'm working on adapting my first book in scripted form. So I have all sorts of dreams, but I don't know. I don't know if they'll come to fruition, but I'm going to work as hard as I can to make them come to fruition. But in the near future, I think I'd like to just keep growing my podcast, keep writing books, and hopefully do a children's book too.
Well, congratulations once again on your success, and quite sure all of your dreams will come to fruition because you're just that kind of guy to work hard and get things done. We
Thank you,
can't
Mike.
wait to see you in Philly, October 25th, once again at the TLA. Welcome to Philly, and we'll see you there.
Thank you so much, Mike.